Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome.
There's a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
As long as the Matrix exists, the human race will never be free.
Start somewhere. It has to start sometime. What better place than here? What better time than now?
Terrorists! Terrorize this.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.
Strange times are here. Isn't that the truth? The Black Keys. Strange times. Greetings, truth seekers, freedom fighters, free thinkers, and guardians of the sheeple. That's right. We got you until you wake yourself up. It is Thursday, September 22nd, 2011, and you have found yourself shaking with rage on the front lines in this war on our humanity. I'm your host, Darren Stone, broadcasting to you live from deep beneath the Denver International Airport. That's right. I'm in. I snuck in. I've arrived first. I stole the keys. I locked the door before Barry and his Globus Leech cohorts could get here. I figured, I'll let you guys in since we all paid for it anyway, right? Tonight's call-in number is 917-889-3064 because remember, kids, sitting in a boxcar with your ankles chained to the floor is not the time to make your voice heard. So dial it up, 917-889-3064. Come on, there's got to be something you want to talk about. Can you believe the craziness going on out there? If anybody's paying attention, as I mentioned in the show description, you may not be aware of anything that's happening. You may just be anxiously awaiting the premiere of Charlie's Angels for the 50,000th fucking time that it's been on television. Now, I was talking to somebody about that today, and they said, well, it's people may like Charlie's Angels. And I'm like, no. It's just rehashed crap to give to the next generation of television viewers. Anyways, let me get on with it. I have to be honest with everybody. I am overwhelmed today. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to talk about. I have a caller on the line already. Hold on a second, man. Let me get rolling. I am overwhelmed with really what to do the show on tonight. There's so much stuff going on. It's incredible. We have I don't know. If you listen to programs like this, I think you will hear the show hosts go through what I'm going through right now every once in a while. It becomes so overwhelming. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what's more important than another thing to tell you. And the information, the news coming out is so big that it really deserves some going into. But do you have enough time to go into it? I don't think I do. So I will cover as much of it as I possibly can. Are we having sound issues this evening? Everybody having sound? Nobody has sound? I don't think I'm muted. No, I'm not muted. Well, if I can't really help you with sound if you can't hear me. So let me try this. Be patient, listeners. Hold on. Refresh the page. Okay. All right. Let's first do some plugs here. Facebookers, getting tired of saying it. If you're on Facebook, go to the front on Facebook. All right? Hit the like button. Simple. It's a simple little thing you can do. Simple little thing you can do. Also, check out the Front's new website, frontradio.net. It's pretty kick-ass, if I do say so myself. Just go over and check it out. You can get all the show archives off the site, all the news postings I put up every day, live feeds from Soho satellite, imagery of the sun. We have live earthquake feeds from USGS. I have a live disaster map. We have the debt clock. Oh, we have mission statement, blog, and that's just the beginning. Just the beginning. We're having no sound here. I don't know what's going on. Let's see here. Let me take a call and see what's going on. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Oh, yeah. I like to talk about stuffing things up my asshole. That's a good topic.
How about if I talk about beating the shit out of you? How about that? All right. Anyway, the guy, everybody in chat's telling me to take calls for suggestions. That's the call I take. Some little kid that wants to stick something up his ass. All right. Anyway, you have anything to email the front. Email it away, thefront@live.com. That's thefront@live.com. Whatever you feel is necessary to email. Oh, by the way, listener Joe from out in California got your email today. Awesome pictures, man. He sent me pictures of oh man, I'm going to space on what it is, but the Indian dwellings in the caves out west, whatever those are called, I can't remember. But he sent me pictures of those. He was just there. Anyway, and if you're on Facebook, still on the fascist book, I gotta tell you, man, I'm getting sick of that thing. Changing the stuff around, telling me what news stories are important to me. Hey, I'll do that all by myself. I'm a grown-up, okay? I'll decide which news stories I want to look at. I don't need Facebook telling me that. But then again, we've all waived our rights to anything that has to do with Facebook by signing up on the thing. You all know that, right? It's not for you. Facebook's not for you. That's like thinking television is for your viewing pleasure, your viewing enjoyment. No, Facebook is not for you, not for me. Let's see. Oh, yes, I've used some profanity already. Check out the Government Rag on Facebook and check out the website, governmentrag.com. My friend Stephanie Sledge, great website for truth news. Check it out. And I just a little mention, this is the 150th episode of The Front tonight. That's right, 150th episode. 36,000 listeners to the program. Hey, I'm no Limbaugh, but I'm getting there. No, actually, I would not compare myself, nor would I want anything to be anything like that. Pill-popping globalist propagandist. All right, we got a caller on the line here. Hey, caller, you there?
Can you still shove your...
All right. Okay. And what we will do with you, idiot, is we will just boot you out of the room. There you go. Bye-bye. All right. Simple as that. I use my cyber foot to kick your ass right out of my room for being an idiot. Anyway. News for you today. We'll talk about the market. doing its Hindenburg imitation. Talk about the occupation of Wall Street. I have some NASA satellite falling out of the sky news for you. We have some Monsanto shill Vilsackasaurus telling you that he's going to make you eat what he wants you to eat. And then the big story, what's going on with DEFCON 1 and our military. All right. First of all, global markets slide today. The Dow down 391 points today on top of a 283-point skid yesterday. And so that makes a total of about 700 points. Sliding out. 700-point slide today. 700-point slide. And let's see. All right. Give me a second here, you guys. All right. Now, the interesting thing about this, I'm not just shouting out what's going on with the market, because I know a lot of people aren't invested in the market and they don't really pay attention to it that much. And in all honesty, it's a totally rigged game. It doesn't really have any bearing on reality or what's actually happening. But the reason to watch it is because it's the bankers, it's the globalists. I mean, it's their baby. That's how they suck a lot of money out of the average person. So when they pull the plug on that, it's a good indicator of what's going on in their heads, not a reflection of actually what's going on in the street. So that's why I'm reporting on that, not because I want to tell you how your investments are hitting the shitter or whatever. It's just it's an indicator, because if you look at the market over the last few months, it's just basically going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and its reaction to supposed news out there makes no sense at all. We have unemployment claims going up through the roof, and the Dow surges almost 200 points that day. Then we have the announcement of QE3 yesterday, and obviously it slid, and it's continuing to slide. Now, the whole thing with Benny Bernanke and QE3, in my opinion, it's the nail in the coffin. All right? So for those of you that don't understand what QE is, quantitative easing is, QE3 is, I've talked about it on this show plenty of times before. Just go look up QE3, whatever, QEs, quantitative easing. It basically means they're going to add zeros to the money that the United States has, and that's going to make all of your dollars worth a lot less. So when you go to work tomorrow, those hours you put in, if you think you make $15 an hour, $20 an hour, it may say that on your check, but that $15, $20 an hour, the purchasing power is going to be in the crapper. So anyway. All right. So we're having audio problems in the chat room, I guess. We're having audio problems off the Blog Talk Radio website. So I guess if you need to hear it, then go to the Front's webpage. All right. What do I have for you here? Excuse me, I have someone. Okay. I apologize for that. All right, let's get into it there. Do I need to boot people out of the room? Are they causing these audio problems? We have a lot of weird people in the room today. I don't want to assume that these people are here to cause problems, but the first two phone calls kind of indicated that. All right, let me take caller 617. How you doing, my friend?
Darren, I'm doing just fine. How's it going with you?
Hey, Jeff, what's happening?
Oh, not much. Well, Darren, when we talk about the stock market going into the crapper, I'll tell you what my new project is, and guess what it is? Upgrading my winter clothes collection and getting out of Boston.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea, my friend.
I mean, that's my project, and the price tag on these clothes, I don't even want to say it on the air. It's obscenely high, but I figure I'd rather spend this obscene money on that than Christmas. I mean, isn't that scary? I mean, we both know what's going on, but your average sheep doesn't even really know what's really going on. I mean, I didn't even know that our military went DEFCON 1. I mean, that's news to me, and I've been reading sites like Steve Quayle, Rick Wiles, and so forth.
Well, Jeff, I'm going to preface that when I go over this whole thing. I'm going to preface it with, I wouldn't verify that this is 100% truth. I've been trying to verify this for the past 24 hours. I haven't had any luck doing it. There's a lot of other indicators that point to this time period where they're going to hold this. They're going to have this DEFCON 1 alert status. There's a lot of things that would indicate that it could be true. But I'm just going to throw it out there, and that way, if something is happening or does happen, at least we could maybe go, okay, well, there it is, or that makes sense, or whatever,
I know, and Obama is just literally flushing the country down the toilet. I mean, Michael Savage said the best. He thinks he's working for the other side, which is actually funny because very few mainstream talk show hosts really say it like that. I mean, Michael Savage has his flaws, but when I heard him, try to allude to it on this program, I mean, for mainstream radio, that's a radical thing to say.
Yeah, he's getting himself in some hot water, which is good. I hope he keeps opening his mouth. But I never really watched Michael Savage or listened to him, but I'd be curious to see what he was saying during the Bush administration. That's how you separate these guys on mainstream. And what I've found is that when the person who's saying what you want to hear right now, they'll probably won't be saying the same thing if another party comes in power. They all seem to be mouthpieces for once the left or the right. I used to think that some guys on television kind of spoke a little bit of truth, but then after we get a Democrat in the office after 8 years Republican, these guys see nothing wrong with wars. They see nothing wrong with torture. They see nothing wrong with, bailouts. They see nothing wrong with any of it because their party's in power. So,
I know.
I don't know. I don't trust anybody on television, so I don't know. If you've been watching Savage for a while, maybe you know better than I do.
Well, he's actually not on television anymore. He's on radio, so I just tuned him in a little bit.
All right.
And what's funny, the funny thing is, let's see what he says if Rick Perry gets into power. And we both know that Rick Perry is a New World Order shill.
Yes, we do.
And along with Bo Romney's definitely a shill. I mean, we both know that being from Massachusetts. I mean, Romney is just a pinko through and through. But
well, sure, he helped write the health care bill.
Oh yes, and but what's funny is I'm thinking about what would happen if we ever had an EMP attack, a real because I've been listening to some stuff on True News on EMP attack, and I'm telling you, if that ever happens, it's especially if it happens in the wintertime. That's why I'm buying all these warm weather clothes and upgrading my collection, because if the power goes out, we're on our own. I mean, there'll be a run on the stores.
Well, Jeff, that's what will happen if we have an EMP attack. The power will go out.
Yes,
that's it.
And there'll be a run on all the food stores and everything. You won't be able to use plastic. Cash will be king, and so forth. You won't be able to get your money out. And the funny thing is, I talk to friends of mine, and people feel that this is going to be like down the line, like 10 years down the line or something.
Yeah, I know.
And so forth. And an EMP attack, they can do that right now. The Chinese, the Russians, Iranians, North Koreans, and other people we don't even know of could do it.
And we can do it to ourselves.
Oh, that's even worse. I mean, that's and since Obama's working for the other side, I mean, we can.
Jeff, they're all working for the other side, man. All of them. There is no other side. There's us and the central banking cartel. That's it. That's the two sides. There is no other sides besides those two sides. That's it. And every president we've had since 1913 has been working for the banking cartel. That's it. Bottom line.
Before I get off the air, I wish there was somebody. I wish there was somebody on our side that
we're on our side, man. See this? We are on our side. Look, do you know about the occupation of Wall Street going on right now?
Yeah, I heard about it.
All right. That's what we need to do. We need to occupy. We need to occupy. We need to take it over. We have enough on our side. There's 350 million of us. okay? We have everybody we need on our side. We do. If we keep waiting for somebody to lead us, we will be waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. We can't follow other people. We got to follow ourselves. Each one of us has to step up and to be a leader for the people around us. That's what has to happen.
Well, that's it. And you know what's funny is as far as what's going on. One of the people in the chat room made a good point about solar flares. Yeah, I know that solar flares can happen, and I believe that too. I don't know how extensive that would be. But the solar flares can do the same thing as an EMP.
Well, like I said, you know what? We won't know. We wouldn't know what it was. We will never know. Say we wake up, or say right now in the next 5 minutes, the grid goes down. We would not know if it was an EMP attack from Russia, China, ourselves, an inside job, whatever. We wouldn't know if it was a solar flare, cosmic rays. We wouldn't know shit. All we would know is that power's out. So I don't think anybody's going to – I mean, think about it for a second, Jeff. You're not going to be sitting around wondering, well, my God, how the hell did that just happen? Let me get to the bottom of this with no electricity. You're going to be like, shit, I need to survive.
I know, food and water and everything.
That's right.
Well, you know what else, too, is that it'll be like the series Jericho.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking of right now, that series Jericho. And – you know, my game plan is to move up to New Hampshire. That is my game plan. I don't know what your game plan is, but that's mine. Darren, I thank you for having me on the broadcast. I'll let you go and have a good night.
All right, Jeff. Thanks for calling. Good game plan. Just get out of Boston. That's all I can say. Get out of the populated areas. All right. Take my next caller here. Hello, caller. Are you there? Hello, caller. Are you there? All right, let's let this clown have a second. That's right. You feel better? You feel better? Hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write your number down, and I'm going to give you a call all day tomorrow. Okay? Wise guy? Let's do that. Let's see. We got 215-729-2414. 2414. You guys feel free to call 215-729-2414. That's the wise guy on my line right now. All right. I like that. Anyway. All right, there you go. Call them up. Bug them. Call them. What is it? 215-729-2414. Google search that. Find out his name. All right, here we go. Falling NASA satellite could spark stunning light show. All right, the reason I'm going to go over this NASA UARS satellite falling to the ground is for a couple reasons. There's a lot of speculation on it. Everybody's wondering where it's going to hit. You know, I heard the west coast of the United States. Now I'm hearing somewhere around Italy. But the truth is I don't think they can really determine impact until it makes its final orbit. So let's just go through this real quick. Let's go through this real quick. Yeah, keep screwing with me, man. You want to keep giving me prank phone calls, I will Google your number, and I'll send it out there. I'll blast that onto Facebook and everything. Whatever you want to do, keep doing it. For the latest news about NASA's URS spacecraft fall, visit NASA satellite, complete coverage of the URS spacecraft's fiery demise. I'll be putting up a link that will allow you to track this satellite real time. All right. I'm not going to take any more calls tonight. Sorry, I don't have any more time. I don't have time to waste with people. So if you caller, your 585-713 guy, sorry, the other people screwed it up for you. The NASA satellite, the size of a school bus, is just days away from taking a fiery plunge into Earth's atmosphere and can set up a dazzling display when it does, if anybody's able to see it. NASA's 6.5-ton upper atmosphere research satellite is due to fall somewhere on Earth Friday. That's tomorrow. Though exactly where and when remains a mystery. If you happen to be lucky enough to be within viewing range of the satellite that is re-entering the atmosphere, the sight, put simply, could amount to a short-lived but spectacular fireworks display. Unlike a fireball meteor, whose flight across the sky might take no more than a few seconds, a re-entering satellite's path usually lasts much longer. As the satellite descends to an altitude of about 50 miles, friction with the atmosphere is converted to light and heat as it moves on a relatively slow flight across the sky. What is usually seen as a long trail of light and sparks that can take on virtually every color of the rainbow. That would be pretty cool. Small chunks of the satellite may be seen to break off and trail behind the main body. NASA expects up to 26 pieces from the UARS to survive re-entry and reach the ground. If the re-entry occurs at night, it could light up the sky with brilliance that easily rivals the full moon. Even if it occurs during the daytime, the satellite's fiery patches across the sky could be readily seen. Let's see. Let me do this. Hold on one second, people. What do we got? I have to kick somebody with my virtual cyber boot again. There you go. You're gone too. All right. So is there a danger of being hit? According to NASA, since the beginning of the space age, there have been no confirmed reports of an injury from re-entering space objects, except for, this reminds me of the guy I read an article about on the air a while ago who was hit twice by meteors falling through his roof in his house. He was I think he was in like New Zealand or something. Anyway, yeah, twice by meteors. That's some heavy duty percentage of chance right there. So according to NASA, there have been no confirmed reports of anybody getting injured from re-entering space objects. Let me see. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. According to NASA, there is a 1 in 3,200 chance that debris from URS could hit anyone anywhere in the world. But your personal chance of being struck by a piece of debris is on the order of 1 in several trillion. And artists, okay, blah, blah, blah. All right. The satellite, which was deployed by the Space Shuttle Discovery in 1991, was decommissioned in December 2005. The $750 million UARS, well, that's a good waste of our money, $750 million. URS was the first multi-instrumented satellite to observe numerous chemical constituents of Earth's upper atmosphere. NASA announced the impending uncontrolled re-entry of UARS on September 7th. In recent weeks, the satellite's orbit has dropped to a level where atmospheric drag forces have been so great that UARS cannot remain in orbit. When and where will it fall? As to when UARS is destined to come down, the best estimates right now seem to be focusing on an interval roughly 18 hours long, running from midday tomorrow, Friday, to early Saturday. Ted Molkazan, the moderator of the CSAT Internet mailing list, utilized 6 sets of orbital elements obtained from the U.S. Strategic Command to derive a possible window for re-entry. His calculations suggest that UARS could re-enter anytime from September 23rd at 10:30 a.m. To September 24th, 2:48 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Another CSAT member, Harry Zimmer of Berlin, Germany, predicts Friday. Okay, all right, so these guys are giving you their predictions. NASA says tracking and impact prediction messages will be prepared and released to the general public 2 days, 1 day, 12 hours, 6 hours, and 2 hours ahead of the UARS re-entry. But even 2 hours before re-entry, the average time uncertainty amounts to 25 minutes for nearly circular orbits. This works out to a plus or minus of about 12,000 miles on the Earth. So keep in mind that only the track during the final revolution over the Earth can be forecast and not the exact geographical location of the satellite's burnout. Unpredictable tumbling of any space vehicle as it collides in the denser air can alter the drag forces acting upon it or produce an aerodynamic lift that can deflect it from its projected path. So what they're saying is it's going to fall sometime between tomorrow afternoon and Saturday morning, and they really have no effing idea where it's going to fall. And they won't tell you that until Saturday morning. So there you go. Alrighty. And there we go. And there we go. Okay. Hold on a second, people. I just need to get rid of some riffraff. in the chat room. Oh, man, I tell you. All right. Anyway, moving on. I have some food news for you all. Not good food news, as usual. Just bringing more attention to the poisoning of our food chain. And let's see here. Yeah, I know I do. I don't usually. Usually I have grown-ups at my show. But tonight I have, I guess kindergarten got out early. All right, so we have Monsanto shill and USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack says government will change the way citizens eat. If you guys remember, I covered this, I believe it might have been the last show or the show, wasn't the show before because I had my guest Francis on, the astronomer. But we talked about the FDA saying that you have no right to healthy food choices or it's not a what was that exact wording? It was it's not a person's right to be able to choose what foods they have access to. I believe that was the exact wording. So I'm reporting on this, kind of piggybacking on that, just to let you know, those of you out there that still think you have choices and freedoms, you have the illusion of choice, but you don't really have a choice. So here we have U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack, a known shill and promoter of Monsanto and biotechnology, has said that the government needs to transition and change the way the populace eats. Speaking to members of the National Restaurants Association on Monday, Vilsack said that Americans need to adjust their taste to like what the government believes they should eat. Well, I mean, honestly, people, let's just take a look at Congress, and if that's the type of physical perfection and the epitome of health you hope to achieve, well, I guess we should eat what they eat. I mean, they're all in incredible conditioning. They all look incredibly healthy. We'll get rid of you, we'll get rid of you, and we'll get rid of you. I'm really sorry. I have a bunch of... all right. So considering the fact that Monsanto and biotechnology are literally changing the way we eat, this statement by Vilsack is actually right on the mark. The government is changing the way we eat by promoting and approving dangerous and sometimes toxic genetically modified food that, among many other harmful side effects, has caused third-generation hamsters to become sterile. We're third-generation, fourth, fifth, sixth-generation hamsters. You know, the thing is, when you take a look at Michelle Obama and her big crusade to make children healthier in this country, and we have to listen to Nancy Pelosi in tears up there with her gavel during the signing of the health care bill, crying about how she wants to, all they're trying to do is create a healthier America, you know, and then you have things like this. You see the fraud. I mean, it's not hard to see. Michelle Obama knows nothing of nutrition. She knows nothing of nutrients. She knows nothing of body composition, and yet she seems to fancy herself a champion of health for our nation's kids. But at the same time, her husband appoints Mike Taylor, who's his position was head of the FDA, or he's high up in the FDA at this point. Michael Taylor has been in and out of the FDA. He goes back and forth every couple of years to the FDA, back to Monsanto, back to FDA, back to Monsanto, back to FDA, back to Monsanto. And, you know, Obama, he's just following his orders. He's keeping the people in place that need to be kept in place, and he's keeping Mike Taylor on the watch and ensuring that our food chain is full of genetically modified foods, artificial sweeteners, things that are immunotoxins, excitotoxins, cause cancer, diabetes, and everything else related to the immune system, which is pretty much all the sickness and disease that we have in the country right now. So it really has nothing to do with making a healthier America. It has to do with keeping you sick. It has to do with keeping you dumbed down. Remember, we talked about in your body is electrical, and the cleaner, the more healthy your body is, the less toxins we have in it, the more clear and refined, or the more clear and defined those electronic signals are. That means you can think more clearly, you can rationalize more clearly, you can free think, you can think creatively. If you bog yourself down with artificial crap, those electronic signals from your brain kind of get slowed down, and you kind of get stupid. So, something to think about. So here we have Vilsack saying that the government will tell us what we should be eating. U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack told members of the National Restaurant Association on Monday that Americans need to adjust their tastes so that they like the kind of food the government believes they should eat. And we have to make sure that what we do is create the appropriate transition. The appropriate transition. Hey, how about just letting us grow food in our gardens? Hey, how about not raiding organic food co-ops? How about not raiding organic farmers? How about not allowing Monsanto to have the patents on life, owning the patents to seeds? How about that? Those might help. How about not SWAT raiding the Amish for trying to provide people with raw milk? Look, if you don't believe in raw milk, that's fine. You don't have to. But we're supposed to have a choice. It should be my choice whether or not I want to drink raw milk that will boost my immune system and make me a healthier person, or if I'm only forced to drink corporate milk filled with hormones and pus. That makes you sick, gives you breast cancer, messes with your endocrine system, and all that other stuff. Causes allergies through the toxification of your immune system. You want to know why your kid has peanut allergies? Lay off the milk. Let's see. So considering the fact that Monsanto and biotechnology are literally changing the way we eat, this statement by Vilsack is actually right on the mark. The government is changing the way we eat by promoting and approving dangerous, sometimes toxic, genetically modified food that among other harmful side effects has caused third generation. Okay, I already read that. Vilsack was promoting less sodium and sugar, when in reality he is deeply connected to companies and organizations that actively promote unhealthy GMO foods. See, they want you to believe that sodium is a problem. Sodium is not a problem. When the systems in your body aren't acting correctly, then sodium can become a problem. Okay? We've talked about this. It's something called the sodium-potassium gate at the cellular level. If you are hydrated enough, if your potassium levels are high enough, which comes from eating good foods, then sodium will not be a problem. Your body needs sodium to function. You need it. It's required. Okay? So there's much more deadly things in the food chain besides sodium and natural sugars, such as sodium-free products, okay, that use fake things to make it taste a little saltier, and fat-free foods are a lot more harmful for you. They actually make your body consume more calories, so you actually get fatter eating fat-free foods. Also, fat is not the enemy either. You need fat. You need good fat for brain function, for endocrine function, for hormone production, for your skin, your hair, your nails, all that stuff. Also for vitamin B absorption and protein absorption, you need good fats. So fat-free foods are not good. And also, obviously, the big deal is the artificial sweeteners, aspartame, sucrose, fructose, and all those other oses out there that are, total immunotoxins and excitotoxins for your body. And not to mention the fact that they're made from the fecal matter from a coli bacteria. So, when you're sucking down that soda that has aspartame in it and you think it's all delicious, you're just sucking on some bacteria shit, really. It's really not all that sexy when you get right down to it, no matter what the television tells you. In November 2008, the Organic Consumers Association put together 6 extremely important reasons why the country should oppose Vilsack as head of the USDA. But you see, we don't have any vote as to who is the head of the USDA. And besides, the USDA, I'll tell you this about the USDA. They're a corrupt organization, all right? Even if your vegetables say organic. Here's an example. I spent an extra $1.50, and I bought some organic peppers the other day in the grocery store. But I was stupid. I did not read where they were imported from. I get them home. I look at the label. They're imported from Holland, which means they have to go through customs, which means they got irradiated. So I bought irradiated organic peppers, and so pretty much all the nutritional value in those peppers has now been destroyed because it's been subjected to radiation. The Monsanto sits on the board of the USDA. The FDA claims to own the rights. I'm sorry, not the FDA. The USDA claims to own the rights to the word organic. So we can't trust the USDA. People, it gets real simple. You cannot trust any government agency, not one. They all work together, and none of them work for me or you. But all right, I'm starting to the show's starting to run. We're halfway through, so I'm gonna shelf this Vilsack article. I'll post it up on the Front's website and on the Front's Facebook page. You guys can check it out there. It has all the links, has all the info, and you can go check out Vilsackasaurus yourself. See what he's up to. All right, I have. Let me check something out here. I have. I have 6 things that are ingredients in the corporate food chain that might surprise you, okay? The first thing that's in your corporate food chain is wood. That's right, wood. Just wood, okay? So you know what's awesome? Newspaper, or to be precise, the lack thereof. The internet and other electronic media have all but eaten up classic print media. With the circulations of almost all papers on the wane, do you ever wonder what they did with all the surplus of wood? For the purpose of this article, we will look you squarely in the eye and then slowly bring our gaze upon the half-eaten bagel in your hand, and that's right. Oh, shit. The look in your eye says it all. There's wood in that bagel. What do they do with all that cellulose wood pulp? They hide it behind a bullshit name and make you eat it. That's what. So, look for cellulose as an ingredient. Of course, if you're buying bagels from somewhere, you're not going to have ingredients on there. And it's not just bagels. It'll be any food product. Some examples are, here's some places you're going to find wood in your food. Pancake syrup. Like fake pancake syrup, like Aunt Jemima. Pillsbury pastry puffs, yep, cellulose in there, wood. Kraft bagel folds, yep, wood in there. Fast food cheese, yep, wood in there. Sara Lee's breakfast bowls, yep, full of wood. What else? There you go. So just one more reason to stay away from the corporate food chain, unless you want to eat wood, okay? Then we have zombie orange juice, right? And which I talked about this before. There's no truth to the words fresh squeezed or all natural on the carton, even though it shows you a orange grove at sunrise and it looks like it'll be all sweet and delicious and healthy for you. It's nothing of the sort. But they obviously squeeze those oranges. They hold the orange juice in metal vats for 2 to 3 years. They suck all the oxygen out of it till it becomes this ammonia-ridden, disgusting mess. And then they fill it with their patented orange juice flavor. That's why your Minute Maid orange juice tastes different than your Tropicana orange juice. You might think to yourself, you might say, hey, Darren, how can that be? They both use oranges, yet they taste totally different. Well, that's because you're not actually tasting oranges. You're tasting a patented orange flavor on your fresh squeezed orange juice, in your fresh squeezed orange juice. I'm going to post this article up. They actually show you a picture of Tropicana's bottling room, and guess what? There's nothing orange in it. All right. What else do we have? Ammonia-infused hamburgers. Yeah. I don't have to read this because I already know about this. What happens is once they grind all the hamburger meat up in one of these 7 corporate slaughterhouses in this country, so if you think about that for a second, every single cow that's killed and ground up into hamburger goes to one of 7 places. If you don't think your food chain can be controlled, then you are still asleep. And what happens is this hamburger is so immersed in bacteria that they have to wash it down with ammonia. Okay? And then they cut it with a filler. And the filler is basically everything that's left on the killing floor, all the soft tissue, and they grind that up into a nice white paste, and they cut the hamburger meat with that. And then they wash it all down with ammonia, and then they put some coloring in it so it doesn't look half as disgusting as it really is, and then they add some flavoring too, and then you grill it up and you enjoy a nice burger. What else do I have for you? Anybody hungry? Well, anyway, you get the point. This is a very long article. It's kind of chopped up and it's really hard to read, so I'm not going to continue on with it. I really didn't read it before I got on the air, but it's a good article for you to read, and it will be up right after the show. So check the Front's Facebook page and website, frontradio.net, for that. All right, let's get on to some important stuff, more important stuff. You know, in the realm of preparedness, in the realm of what people like to call doom porn, people who say, look out, something bad is going to happen, something bad is going to happen. It's easy to point fingers at those people and say that they're crazy or say that they're telling a half-truth, because the truth that they're telling is usually pretty scary, and it's not something that most people want to face, acknowledge, or think about too much. But all you have to do is just really look around you, and you look at things like the Denver International Airport, the massive underground base there. The massive underground base is in Virginia, and I've lost track of where else they are in this country, but they're all over the place, all funded by us, the taxpayers, and we're not invited to stay in them. So they're being built for something. Then you have countries like Sweden that are actually building underground shelters for their citizens. Russia's doing the same thing. Why are they doing this? They're not doing it for no reason. They're doing it for something. And here we have another example. A mysterious 72,000 square foot home with concrete walls and bulletproof glass is being built in Missouri. Supposedly the owner has ties to the Department of Defense. That's right. So the article goes on to say, he's not exactly hiding this home, as it can be seen from the highway, but one has to wonder why they're building it with reinforced concrete and bulletproof glass. Who needs 72,000 square feet of living space on 500 acres with video surveillance? The stretch of US 65 between Ozark and Branson, this is down in Missouri, has some of the Ozark's most impressive scenery. There are lush rolling hills, distant horizons, and if you look east, one of the biggest homes in the United States. That's right, this place is one of the biggest homes in the United States. A house currently under construction near Highlandville spans almost a full acre from wall to wall on a 500-acre site. The ambitious project, nearly 3 years in and barely at the first floor, totals 72,000 square feet. The White House, with 3 wings on 6 levels, totals 55,000 square feet. Beginning with a 23,000 square foot basement, the house's ground level is only slightly smaller, and the second story is a little less than 22,000 square feet. Garage accounts for 4,000 square feet itself. Interior plans include 2 elevators, 15 bedrooms, 14 bathrooms, a 2-story, 1,600 square foot library, and 2-story, 1,900 square foot Great Hall, the Hall of the Mountain King. The master bedroom is 1,275 square feet. Perhaps the only unsurprising parts of the massive project are the rumors. Quote, it's all concrete, and I've heard it'll have bulletproof glass and a concrete roof. Said Steve Johnson, neighbor to the Woods Fork Road property. My wife was told it's supposed to be a corporate retreat. At least one part of that is known to be true. The walls are all concrete, said Sheriff Joe Kyle. Records show the building is owned by the Stephen T. Huff family, LLC, but exactly who Stephen T. Huff is largely unknown. His brother Joe Huff, out of Ozark, verified the ownership of the property, but was reluctant to disclose any more information. The technology involved with the construction is proprietary in nature, Joe Huff said. It's not information we are prepared to talk about right now. All right? You know, you only don't talk about stuff if you're hiding something, right? Joe Huff also verified that the structure is being built as a personal residence and identified himself as the, quote, project manager. However, available information online and in public records indicate that Stephen Huff is involved in technological engineering. The property's deed says Stephen T. Huff Family, LLC, is located in Leesburg, Virginia. Available online records of political campaign contributions show Stephen T. Huff of Leesburg to be an engineer and chief technology officer of Overwatch Systems Limited. According to the Overwatch website, the company, quote, delivers multi-source intelligent geospatial analysis and custom intelligence solutions to the Department of Defense, national agencies, and civilian organizations. More than 25,000 analysts in the U.S. Department of Defense and the larger intelligence community utilize Overwatch solutions. A company overview of Overwatch on the Bloomberg Business Week website says Overwatch was formerly known as Sensor Systems. Overwatch also owns the Medical Numerics Company, which according to its website, quote, enjoys powerful collaborations with the world's leading medical imaging research organizations, including the United States National Institute of Health, Harvard Medical School, Yale University, UCLA School of Medicine, Johns Hopkins University, Georgetown University, and Oxford University. The Medical Numerics website says Stephen Huff founded Sensor Systems, now Overwatch, in 1993. So there you go. You have a guy with direct ties to the Department of Defense, supposedly building a 72,000 square foot bulletproof home in the Missouri Ozarks, which, if you guys remember, according to my former guest, John, oh man, I'm spacing. John, oh God. What the hell was his name? I can't think of his name. Well, you remember, he was a Planet X researcher, former military guy, flew 57 combat missions over Vietnam, showed us, talked about the Navy flood maps that the Navy put out to, or the Navy debriefed to some of the members of the Navy back in 1986, I believe it was, showing the future of the continent of the United States, showing it split in half by a body of water connecting the Lake Michigan to the Gulf of Mexico. And one of the safe zones, according to the Navy flood maps, was the Missouri Ozark Mountains. All right. So there you go. So we have a member of the Department of Defense, direct ties to the Department of Defense, building a massive compound in what the Navy, his name was John Moore. That's right. My guest, John Moore. Building this in one of the supposed safe zones in the Missouri Ozarks. I just thought I'd throw that out to you, let you guys, consume it, do whatever you need to do with it. There you go. All right, now on to the weird stuff, if what I haven't told you already isn't weird enough. It's come to my attention through poking around the interwebs that there might be some strange things afoot. With the announcement of quantitative easing 3, which everybody who knows anything about the economy and how it works is the proverbial nail in the coffin for the American dollar and the economy. Like I said, that announcement was made yesterday, and the market has been tanking ever since. We also have some other things happening. We have Obama being summoned by the military to be in Denver on the 27th, which is this coming Tuesday. Coincidentally, starting tomorrow in Denver, there is a military exercise called Mountain Guardian, which is involving over 100 state, federal, and local agencies. It's a supposed terrorism drill. Now, I look at this, and I'm wondering about the timing of this. Is this, well, we all know what happens when they perform drills, people. A lot of times when they perform drills, the actual drill scenario goes live. Case in point, 9/11, as the military, NORTHCOM was drilling for passenger jets being hijacked and slammed into buildings in Operation Vigilant Guardian. It just so happened, coincidentally, on that morning, that's exactly what happened. Just like the 7/7 bombings in London subways, the MI6 and the local London authorities were performing a drill that involved terrorists attacking the subway system, and what do you know, it happened on the same day. You want to look into the chances of odds on that? I'd say they probably live in the they probably are somewhere in the millions to billions to one. But yet it's happened twice in our recent history. But we'll just chalk that up to coincidence. So anyways, I look at this next drill coming up, Mountain Guardian, and the timing of Obama's summoning by the military, the fact that Congress will be off, the fact that military brass is heading there, NASA brass is heading there, and some other things, which I'm going to go over right now. So here's some clues. Here's 3 different things that are leading me to believe that we may be in for some possible shit hitting the fan scenarios early next week. Now look, I'm going to give you this information. I can't verify it. I don't know how true it is. Parts of it are true. Operation Mountain Guardian is true. Obama did get summoned by the military to be in Denver, which happens to be the largest underground military base that most of us know about in the country. Those things are true. Quantitative easing 3 was announced. That is true. And about one more thing about quantitative easing, every scenario involving economic collapse that economists that speak the truth have all said in the past that once QE3 is announced or starts, that will be the beginning of the end. And in the past 24 hours or slightly more since it has been announced, we can see that unraveling already. The Dow is nearing under 10,000 points. We'll see what happens on Friday. Friday is usually a down day in the past few months, so we'll see how much farther down it goes. So here's some clues here. The insiders have vanished, chief executives and board members, the head honchos, the people who know. Just a few weeks ago, they were out in force buying up shares in their own companies with both hands, but no longer. They've disappeared almost overnight. Okay? And since that's happened, look at what's happening in the market. Now, see, they're not going to crash it all in one day. They're not going to do that. They're going to keep the suckers in there. They're going to keep that carrot dangling in front of you. Okay? I don't know how long it's going to go on for. I can't see it going on for much longer than November, to be honest. But I'm not saying that as a prediction. I would never do that with that. I'm just saying it's my own personal view, personal opinion on it. Quote, they've stopped buying, says Charles Bitterman, the chief executive of stock market research firm Trim Tabs, which tracks the data. Quote, insiders aren't buying in this rally any longer. This was put out yesterday, by the way. Oh, no, sorry. Yes, yesterday, actually. Insider stock purchases, which surged above $100 million a day in the market slump last month, have now collapsed to just $13 million a day. Now, understand, people, when the market goes down, the boys at the top, they force it down to buy up on pennies on the dollar. So they love when the market's tanking because they control it. They can pump it back up after people get nervous and sell. Okay? So that's what he's saying. Insider stock purchases, which surged above $100 million a day in the market slump. See, the market's been slumping, and so these insider guys have purchased, their purchase have, equaled up to about $100 million a day. And they have backed down now to about $13 million a day, which should be a big sign for a lot of people. Strike 2. Let's see. I stopped at 50 just to get it posted, but there are more, including lots of board members and other executives. In this article, the author lists 50 companies where board members and executives have taken off. Okay? And I'm going to read you some of these. I'm not going to go through all 50, but here we are. We'll start with the top. Sun Microsystems, Royal Bank of Scotland, Bank of Lumi of Israel, Lenovo, WellPoint, Ingersoll Rand, Gasco, Syntel, Motion Picture Television Fund, Grain Corp, Connaught PLC, Netplay TV, Trans World Entertainment, PBR, Aeropostale, let's see, YTB International, Borders Books. Okay, that doesn't mean the girl working the counter's out. That means the people that are on the board are out. What else do I have? Names you would recognize. Commerce Resources, Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing, Envy Energy, the chief financial officers are gone. Bergen Group, Rosenberg. All right, so there's a few. And now here we go. The week of September 25th, American president leaves D.C. during this week to Denver, where there is a sort of a military DEFCON 1 exercise going on. Many NASA staff leaves this week for Denver. Senate and the House of Reps leaves D.C. this week. They always take the month of August. This is the first time they are recessing again the next month. The first time. Okay? British Parliament leaves for recess this week. The main British royalty is nowhere to be found in their scheduling on these dates. The UN will be off on this date. The Russian Duma will be in recess next week. The Pope will be off. Okay? I'm just saying. If you think about the rats jumping ship, the people that have access to supposed DUMBs, deep underground military bases, that's who these people are. They're not going to be around. I believe my guest, Francis Walsh, the astronomer, talked about an alignment taking place next week with Venus and Elenin, and it's an alignment that was spoken about in the book of Revelations. I can't remember the details of the alignment. I'll go over it again on Monday. I just didn't have a chance to look at it today. But it's the alignment where Venus is giving birth to planets, and after that, something called the seven-headed dragon appears. Now, I'm not touting the book of Revelations. I'm just conveying information that my guest wanted us to know about. Let's not forget, if anybody watched Obama on 9/11 at the memorial service give that really strange speech and what he talked about, I'll repeat it for you. This is what he said. He said, Psalm 46, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. Does that seem like a strange thing to say at a 9/11 tribute for the president to say? He's quoting the Bible. I'm telling you something that my friend Francis Walsh said was going to take place that's described in Revelations as far as galactic alignment goes. It just raises red flags. You guys know I'm no Bible thumper, okay? But it doesn't matter what I believe. It's what those people believe. So those are some red flags about the dates next week. A little bit more information about DEFCON 1, all right? Obama ordered to Denver for DEFCON 1 exercise. Now, understand something about DEFCON 1. It's an alert status, okay? This country has never been put on DEFCON 1 alert status. Look, we were put on alert for DEFCON 2 back in the 60s during the Cold War. I'm going to read you at the end of this article what DEFCON 1 status signifies. Is there another reason for Barack Obama's September 27th visit to Denver, Colorado, as outlined in the CBS Denver story? It is well known within conspiracy theory circles that the Denver airport is home to the largest deep underground military base. It is also well known that Comet Elenin will come directly in between the Earth and the Sun between the 26th and 28th. Remember, my guest Francis disagreed with that, not so much directly in between us, a little bit higher than both. Will the purpose behind Denver Airport's underground base, as outlined in the video at the bottom by Jesse Ventura, soon be made known? And here are some bullet points here. Elenin has caused earthquakes in previous lineups with the Earth and Sun at Japan, Chile, and Christchurch. Honestly, people, that's debatable whether Elenin caused those earthquakes, okay? Well, what's not debatable is its positioning on those days of the earthquakes. So I don't think any of us can really prove it either way. Next bullet point. The next lineup of Ellen is September 27th. Obama will be in Denver on September 27th. Military brass will be in Denver on September 27th. NASA brass will be in Denver September 27th. The largest underground base in the USA is under the DIA, which is Denver International Airport. It's 40 square miles big. The USA has designated Denver as a location of the alternative seat of government in the time of major crisis. Pretty handy for everyone. Important to have a bunker to jump in if something comes down. This is out of Denver, CBS 4 out of Denver. President Barack Obama will visit Denver area as part of a series of stops in western states to talk about the economy. Really, what does he have to talk about, honestly? Is he going to give another speech like he did today, saying how he's a warrior for the middle class, as the middle class has been eviscerated? I mean, whatever. And I don't even know why people waste their time listening to what this person has to say. So far, it's not clear where exactly the president will visit and what time of day he'll be here. In addition to the presidential visit to Denver, a disturbing report coinciding with this date was prepared by General Alexei Maslov, the senior military representative of the permanent mission of Russia to NATO. States that he has been notified by the Americans of their plan to hold a DEFCON 1, quote, cocked pistol, that's the name of this DEFCON 1 alert, cocked pistol, maximum readiness alert drill on September 27th, which will be overseen by President Obama at one of the United States' most secured bunkers located beneath the Denver International Airport. Under the SALT I, which is the Strategic Nuclear Arms Control Agreement signed between Russia and the U.S., both parties are required to notify the other in all cases of such maximum readiness drills occurring, but are not required to state their reasons for doing so. General Maslov states in his report, though, his concern over this drill is heightened due to last month's nuclear attack on the Central Intelligence Agency's branch of the Intercontinental Military Tunnel Complex between D.C. and Denver, and which we reported on in our August 24th report. Russia reports nuclear explosions hit vast U.S. military tunnel network. So what Maslov is referring to there is the Virginia earthquake that happened last month. We've talked about in this show. People say, if you guys remember the report I did on it, that earthquake did not have normal earthquake signatures. There's two types of waves that are sent out through the Earth's crust when an earthquake occurs. This earthquake was missing one of those types of waves, which means it did not appear to be a normal earthquake. Then we hear information that it was possible nuclear detonations underground. Will I ever be able to prove that? No, I won't. Can we prove that it did not have actual signatures of a regular earthquake? Yes, we can. All you have to do is look at USGS information. So, although we can't prove that it was an underground nuclear explosion, we can prove that it was not an earthquake like we were told, which means something's being hidden. So does that lead a little bit more credibility to the fact that it could have been an underground nuclear explosion, an attack perhaps, trying to cave in tunnels that reach from D.C. to Denver? And people may be out there going, well, that's just crazy, man. They can't make a tunnel all the way from D.C. to Denver. If that's what you think, I urge you to Google, say, underground tunneling machines. I don't know what you would call them, but take a look at the size of these things. They are approximately 10 stories high, okay? All blades and lasers and blast. They can tunnel through, I forget how many miles of rock in a day. It's ridiculous. So if they've been building these things for years, for decades, I have no doubt that they have a huge, massive tunnel system all across the country that we paid for. So you want to know why we're in such debt? You want to know why they try to suck every dollar out of your pocket? It's for projects like this, to save their own ass. We're all expendable sheeple and lab rats. So, okay. So Maslov is referring to the fact that maybe somebody tried to collapse some of these tunnels between D.C. and Denver. Important to note is that shortly after the devastating attacks on America on September 11, 2001, the Bush regime moved to completely militarize the CIA by placing As its director, former U.S. Air General Michael Hayden, who served in that capacity until February 2009, when Obama then put in place the former U.S. Army intelligence officer, Leon Panetta, to run his most powerful spy agency. After Panetta, Obama put General Petraeus in charge of the CIA barely a week after the aforementioned nuclear attack upon it. The fears of both the Bush and Obama regimes regarding the CIA were due to their complicity in the September 11th attacks upon America, utilizing their al-Qaeda terror network headed by their main asset, Osama bin Laden, otherwise known by his code name, his CIA name, Tim Osman. That was Osama bin Laden's code name for this, according to the CIA, Tim Osman, when he lived in California, before he decided to hate you for all your freedoms that you don't have. That was run jointly with Pakistan's Directorate for Inter-Services Intelligence and funded by the Saudi royal family. Important to note is that the Russian intelligence services were long aware of the CIA ISI Tim Osman operation after it had been infiltrated by top FSB agent Victor Bout, who delivered to Marvin Bush, President George Bush's younger brother, and Wirt Walker III, George Bush's approximately 15 tons of Russian military plastic explosives used to bring down the World Trade Center buildings. Now, that's what this article says. I will never tell you what brought down those buildings, as I can't prove anything did, but what I can say is that jet fuel did not. The numbers don't add up. The temperature, people standing in the burning holes where planes entered, obviously was not. If it's not hot enough to burn human flesh, it's not hot enough to melt steel or even warp steel so that a building falls at free fall speed and pulverizes everything in it. Let's see. Important to note about Marvin Bush and Wirt Walker III is that at the time of the 9/11 attacks, they were both directors of the American security company named Stratosec, formerly known as Securicom, which was given an $8.3 million contract to help provide security at the World Trade Center, and which the weekend prior to the attacks completely closed this massive skyscraper complex for 36 hours to, quote, upgrade its security system. That part is true because it's on record. Well, I won't say it's true because it's on record, but it's on record. So there you go. You got Bush's family taking over control of security of the Trade Center complex after the owner takes out double terrorism insurance, after he's been notified he had to spend over $1 billion for asbestos removal, and we have George Bush's cousin in there taking over security and shutting down the towers for 36 hours just prior to the attacks. Nothing fishy going on there, everybody. Everything's on the up and up. It's Al-Qaeda. It's Muslim extremists that hate your freedom. That's what brought the towers down. It just happened to work out incredibly well for everybody that was tied to the towers, except the people that were actually in it. But they were sacrificed. All right. Let me see here. What else do I have here? Almost there, people. Almost there. All right. Now, Bout, in being curious, to say the least, as to why the Bush family needed so much Russian explosives for their upgrade of the World Trade Center complex, was invited by Marvin Bush to come to New York City to watch the big show, and an offer Bout did not refuse. And so the night prior to 9/11, Bout traveled to New York City, where he was met by Bush operatives working for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, that's FEMA, who coincidentally, I won't even read the next part because I already know it. FEMA just happened to show up in New York, set up on a pier close to the World Trade Center on September 10th. Again, just a coincidence. So FEMA, who coincidentally had scheduled an emergency exercise for the morning of September 11th, that all too soon became real. Just happens to work out that way for these guys. Bout was given a FEMA security pass that gave him unhindered access to the aftermath of the catastrophic attacks on the World Trade Center complex, which these reports document he took a full advantage of. Unfortunately for the Americans, though, that was Bout's, quote, visit wearing his FEMA credentials was filmed by FEMA official videographer Kurt Sonnenfeld, who was the only filmmaker given unrestricted access to the 9/11 site. The main conduit for Saudi Arabian cash used to finance the Tim Osman operation was identified by Bout in his FSB reports as being Abdulaziz al-Haji and his wife Anaud, a grandniece of Saudi King Abdullah, who lived in Sarasota, Florida, and who just days prior to the September 11th attacks suddenly left all their possessions and returned home. Yep, they just left all their stuff in Sarasota, Florida, in their luxury home, left it all, and just went back to Saudi Arabia. A little earthquake update. We just had a 6.8 earthquake in the Samoa Islands. Earthquake activity has been off the hook lately. The importance of noting the CIA, ISA Saudi connection to the attacks upon America on September 11th with the Obama's planned September 27th drill, Cox pistol alert, is due to General Maslov's warning in this report that it is unprecedented drill occurring in Denver, and on that date could be very well likely be related to threats made against the United States by both Saudi Arabia and Israel over the upcoming UN General Assembly vote to declare Palestinian statehood. And I didn't pay too much attention to that, but as far as I know, Obama was a thumbs down to Palestinian statehood. I'm not sure, though. And in all honesty, not that it really matters, because it's all for show anyways. It's all for our consumption. Be done with it. Let those people have their own country, but that will never happen. I think back to congressional meetings with members of the Pentagon who has said that a nuclear attack is imminent on the United States. Not a matter of if, but when. And they'll want you to believe that attack came from somewhere else, but that attack will come from the inside. We have never had an attack on this soil ever that was not conducted from within. Not once. If you want to count Pearl Harbor, there was definite prior knowledge of Pearl Harbor, and those people that died during Pearl Harbor were basically left there to do so. Just all an excuse to use the A-bomb, invade. We had sanctions on Japan. We provoked them into anything on the surface. We provoked them into attacking us on the surface, and then we had prior knowledge of the incoming attack. Gave us the stepping stone into World War II. But anyways, that's another show. Let's see. What else do I have in here? I'm sorry. The Obama regime voted for Palestinian statehood. Okay. Saudi Arabia would no longer be able to cooperate with America in the same way it historically has, and the chances of another war in the region would be assured. You see, again, this is all on the surface. The United States does not do anything humanitarian. Our buddies, the Saudis, are in control of all the slaughtering, all the chaos, all the murder in Africa. The Saudis control it from the capital city of Khartoum, and the Saudis are our friends. And then you get Joe Biden going down there saying that 1 million children are going to starve. Well, yeah, Joe, it's because our allies, the Saudis, are in control, and you're asking the American people to send cash for the starving children. It's overwhelming, really. All right. Let me see what else here in this article. Okay. Some information about the date of September 27th. Let me say this. As we had warned about in our May 28th report, Obama vows war on Saudi Arabia. I never heard that. Orders thousands of U.S. troops to region. Well, that's happening. And our June 23rd report, nuclear attack on U.S. warned imminent as Saudi war nears. The United States plans for all-out global war are well in place and are now awaiting the spark that will set it all off. to if the date of September 27th, when Obama will be in Denver, will be the date this spark is set off. It is not in our knowing. What is in our knowing, though, is that since the CIA transferred their headquarters to Denver in 2005 under the mysterious airport, with bizarre murals that bring mass global death, particularly between Israelis and Palestinians, the question as to who or what actually controls the United States remains in question. Well, I'll tell you who does not control it: we the people, and nor do the people posing as our government. So you'll have to look outside those entities if you want to try to figure out who controls it. And when this information is coupled with the fact that September 27th is one of the most significant dates in American history, because on that date in 1777, after British troops captured Philadelphia, Lancaster, Pennsylvania became the United States capital for that single day. The first time such a thing occurred in all of that nation's history, and it is also the date that common Elenin enters into our feared alignment with the Earth, Sun, and Moon. Okay, not totally true there. These conjunctions are responsible for catastrophic earthquakes and tsunamis, and nearly all NASA's top officials and scientists will be in Denver on that date too. One can be justifiably perplexed as to the many meanings these events have. I being one of those people that are justifiably perplexed. But to the greater meaning of all these things, it has been best stated by Woodrow Wilson, the 28th President of the United States, who warned the American people about the future to come. And Woodrow Wilson goes on to saying, quote, "Since I entered politics, I have chiefly had men's views confided to me privately. Some of the biggest men in the U.S. in the field of commerce and manufacturing are afraid of somebody, are afraid of something. They know there is a power somewhere so organized, so subtle, so watchful, so interlocked, so complete and so pervasive that they had better not speak above their breath when they speak in condemnation of it." So I guess Woodrow Wilson is a conspiracy theory like me. Do you think Woodrow Wilson said that for no reason? Just making shit up? Just talking shit? And to understand these words are to understand everything, especially what is to come. No one, therefore, can say that they were never warned, only that they didn't listen. The real threat is that if you look at the recent history of terror attacks on the U.S. and Great Britain during both the September 11th attacks and the London bus bombings, military exercises were taking place involving nearly identical theoretical situations at the same time of the actual events. It is thus a foreshadowing of what is to come. Coop Media concludes that there could be a real potential threat given the information leaks regarding the possible nuclear attacks surrounding the month of September 2011. Was 911 simply a mathematical warning for those in the know, meaning 911, meaning September 2011? Don't know. Adding the coincidental events, Britain was prepared to back the UN vote calling Palestinian Authority a state. Hey, you know what? Maybe everybody's going, hey, fuck it. We'll say Palestine. You can have your state now because the shit's about to hit the fan and everything's going to change. Maybe. Could be. This will undoubtedly cause some of the most interesting political and military discussions to happen between the state of Israel and Palestine. So are we on the doorstep of World War III? You know, well, we all know it's coming. It might be sooner than later. So let me give you a little rundown of DEFCON status, okay, everybody? DEFCON 5, okay, that's the condition. Defense condition is DEFCON 5. Description is the lowest state of readiness and just as normal readiness. DEFCON 4, above normal readiness, which includes increased intelligence watch and strengthened security. DEFCON 3, increase in force readiness above that required for normal. DEFCON 2, next step to nuclear war, war readiness. DEFCON 1, okay? DEFCON 1, nuclear war is imminent. Maximum readiness. I have no confirmation, people. I have no confirmation as to whether we are actually on DEFCON 1 alert status. I don't know. Okay? I would like to know. But what I do know is that Operation Mountain Guardian is taking place. Obama is going to be there. And all the people that I mentioned and all the government agencies are going to be out of town. So add it all up, make your own, come to your own conclusion. I don't know. I'm of the belief that we are collapsing socially, economically. The collapse is coming. When exactly it's going to happen, I don't know. All these signs indicate sooner than later. I don't know how much time we have to prepare for anything. I hope you've all done some preparing up to this point. I don't know what to expect. None of us do. So all we can do is prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So once again, anybody have any emails, info you want to send me, questions, suggestions, shoot me an email, thefront@live.com. Check out the website, frontradio.net, and Facebookers, hit the like button on the Front's Facebook page. Oh, I forgot to tweet this show. Oops. Other than that, listen, people, I'll be back Monday for a show, okay? Hopefully communications will still be up. If so, I'll see you all Monday. Have a safe weekend. Take some preparatory measures. Do some thinking. Get a plan together. All right, everybody. Good night. Thanks for being here.
Your choice is simple. Join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and face obliteration. We shall be waiting for your answer. The decision rests with you.